Good evening. The Who's today uh, were on at Rosehill. The track was dead, stayed that way all day, and the rail was 4 metres out. There was a very strong wind straight out of the west, slightly north, well, out of the west, and down the back and along the side. If you're leading, you ran straight into the wind. Interestingly, well, not a leader one. There are a couple that got very close, but not able to hang on. So I suppose the wind was the factor that stopped those who led from getting home. Now, value-wise, well, the first race was disgraceful. On the screen, I know I go on about it all the time, but like it is like finding money on the ground, isn't it? Um, on the screen in the first race, 95.9. We managed to give 92%. These were the flux. First race, Mergelisa Lass, 26 to 40. Studio from about $3.50 to $4.60, back into $4. Tigress Billy, 40 out to 60. The winner, Holoney, Skinner for the captains, $3.20 opening favourite. We gave you the tip, out to $4.20, unlabelled at the death. Unlayable. The result for the captains. Tohunga, it didn't have a price. It went from $3.50 to $5. The betting would have gone another minute. It would have been 33s, but it started fives. $5, 4 to 1. Black Jag, very well backed, open $8. Only started $5. Only started 5. And the bottom one, or History No Hurdle, it was $8 out to $9, given in the outer. 8.50 on the fence, plenty of it, but it only started $6. Doesn't sound any good to me. As I say, it's like finding money on the ground. And this race was won by Holoney, who would have been an easy way for the captains. We all found it hard to lay. And it was ridden by the pumper. Where did he sit? The wind, unfortunately, took care of the leader, who only got beat a 0.2 of a length, and that was the winner's stablemate, Studio. Waller had 1, 2, 3, 4 runners in this race, and he got the trifecta, and yes, he did get the trifecta. And Gay with Tohunga was only ran fourth, only beaten half a length. The margins being 0.2 by 0.4 by 0.5. It sat back in last position, Holoney, where it was always going to be back, and getting to the outside, there wasn't a lot of pace on. It led on the fence. Studio, as I said, and only went down by the small margin. But the pumper, showing that great balance and the weight distribution that he has, he was able to. He most probably knew 50 out. He said, "Oh, I'll most probably get there," which he did. He bobbed the stablemate on the line, Studio, and coming the widest and off their heels down the straight. The wind, as I say, was a factor in the result of the race. Tohunga, even though it was easy in the betting, ran a great race, and it was behind the leader on the fence, and so I suppose it was copping a bit of wind, not so much down the side, but in the back straight at least. So anything that was on the fence there today, and the fence close to it, was no good. The wind factor being the major factor against the inside, but being no good, taking care of them in the back straight and down the side, and most probably a little bit iffy with that overnight rain we had last night. The second race on the screen, 101.6 in the marketplace, a skinny 95%. Now, this race was won by the Avery Proverb. There was some captains who didn't want to miss it. They let you lay the 10 to 9 on, $1.90 on the fence. When the market went up $1.70, quickly got to $1.90. but it was laid on and only started $1.70 hard to get. Took $1.75 at one stage for whatever you wanted, and it beat the second favourite, Indianapolis. Leading in the race was the bottom one, Unforgivable, and it pulled up with a laceration. It was a 200 to 1 chance. It got be 4.1 lengths, but as I say, ran into the wind, and behind it on the fence, copying the wind from barrier 1 was Proverb. So it's even though it battled out, Nanny battled it out with the second favourite all the way down the straight. The second favourite, Indianapolis, did get good wind cover where Proverb would have copped it a bit, and but he showed a good fight in the straight to hold on and beat Indianapolis by 0.1 of a length, and getting a good run off their backs in second last position was Laser Flash. It was 1.9 lengths away. The winner was most probably the best run in the race, and the captains, well, if you want to lay it, it was easy to lay the favourite. I did my money on the race, had a bad result, and Indianapolis, it was an easy way. It opened up only $3 second pick, or $2.80, but bookies quickly reached for it and got it to $4.20 at the death. Indianapolis, I've taken him back into $4, and as I say, it most probably would have been a result for the bookies. It was a lot better than the favourite for me. Race 3. On the screen, 103.3 in the marketplace, a couple less, about 101, and this race was won by the favourite, More Joyous. One captain, I think, let you lay a 20 to 1 on. He said, you can, here, do you want to, anyone want to have 100,000 on this at $1.05? And I think it was laid on. It did start, I think it flucked $1. On the flux screen at one stage, it did have $1.05, but I don't know how they got there. I think they ripped it down. They said that can't be right. It went up $1.02 on the fluck and got out to $1.03. But there are a few, 2 or 3 boards when they jump. You could lay the 25 to 1 on $1.04, and she was too good. Nash just sat quietly on her, getting a windbreak from Colorado Claire to finish up going to the lead. It led earlier on Del Zero, and he gave her an easy. Well, they didn't give her an easy time. She only won by 2.5 lengths, beating Sky Rush, and she's a bonny mare, as we all know, and she cruised down to win by that margin. And running third was For a Rainy Day, who came off the favourites back, having every possible chance. Race 4 on the screen, 101.3 in the marketplace. Not much difference, a little bit less. We might have got top odds the even 100, and some say that Karen McAvoy's ride was a bit kleiner here, but I disagree. Even though he was trapped wide at one stage, it was all right. He went back and he got on the back of the favourite, and coming down the side when the turn was looming up, he was able to. He went around the favourite. Nash didn't bother pushing out. He said, I'll wait till we straighten. And he got in between runners, Nash, and it was by far the best run. It wouldn't have mattered what happened here. The winner would have won, even if Albrecht would have been able to slot in front of it, behind it, and not get be wide. The winner was, in my opinion, far too good. Now the betting, Albrecht went up $1.70. It got out to $1.85. It was laid on the $1.85 into $1.80, but started that price, and as I say, ran second, got beat 1.8 lengths. KBN, the winner, extremely well back, went up $2.80. Bookies reached for it quickly, saw $3.30 on the fence, plenty of $3.20, which I think had flucked, but it only started $2.90. And at one stage, I think they took the $2.90 off you. You couldn't get the $2.90, it was only $2.80. It started $2.90 on the fence, hard to get. And as I say, it was too good for the favourite, in my opinion. Wouldn't have mattered what happened there. In race 5, on the screen, 105.4 in the marketplace, only a couple less, about 103. Wasn't much good. And this race, the horse that led on the fence, or led, it was off the fence turning for home, was the second horse Offenders, who protested against the winner Rolling Pin, who sat on its outside. And Rolling Pin, when they got down, the wind most probably blew him in a little bit. I think, well, I'll get to that, the protest in a minute, but well, I'll tell you about it now. When they got down to the line, nearing the line, Rolling Pin started to hang in a little bit, I suppose, and he did give Offenders a nice fender, and but as soon as he gave the bump to Offenders, Corey Brown was sensible enough to pull it straight off it, and he went to the line without hitting it again with the whip. And I think the stewards were right in their decision by dismissing the protest. Unfortunately, Offenders, I think, most probably should have won the race because it led and ran into the wind. And behind it on the fence, copying the breeze as well, would have been the short price favourite, Fat Al, who was sensationally backed. You could get whatever you wanted out of it. It flucked $1.35, starting $1.30, I think, although you could have got $1.35 on the fence when they jumped. And as I say, it sat in behind Offenders on the fence, and when they turned for home, Offenders had got away from the fence, and Rolling Pin held his position, and moving up on the outside of the favourite was Upbeat, ridden by Killer Cat, and she made sure that Nash wasn't able to push off the fence. Nash had to go, unfortunately, closer to the fence than any other runner, and halfway up the straight, there was no way in the world it was going to win. But only got beat 0.4 of a length. It's very dour now. Copped the wind and was in the worst section of the track. So don't dismiss Fat Al. It'll win plenty of races. As the margins were 0.2 by 0.4, and as I say, betting wise, it went up to $1.35. Me and a couple of others let you lay the 5 to 2 on $1.40. One of the pros did have a pony to a brick on with me, and then they laid the $1.35 on, and it was into well, it never went off. The $1.35 never went off, and actually one captain reached for it with 30 seconds to go and went back $1.40 and was laid on, but started $1.35 on his board, and unfortunately for Avery backers, it went down. It wasn't much good, although if you laid the favourite it was. The winner was very hard to lay in the marketplace. It went up $9, 8 to 1, and it started $15, about a 14 to 1 chance. It was 8s out to 14s, Offenders. I gave $16 or $17 Fenders. It was actually worse than the winner for me. It went up $13 or $12 and got out to 16, back into 15. Darcy the Good was always, they took $12 and it started $11, $9 to 12, $12 back into 11. Pain in the Glass was actually back, 26 out to 31, back into 26. Upbeat was 41 out to 81. A linear tile was $26 out to 41, back into 30, and Levi's Choice was $51 out to $101. That was about the race, and unfortunately for the second and third place getters, they ran. One of them ran into the wind, and the other one, well, it had wind was affected by the wind, but also in the worst section of the ground. Race 6 on the screen, 103.4 in the marketplace, 101% only, less the Toyotas. Now this the winner here. Now this makes you think. Was it? Well, in the last race, a couple of runners that sat wide didn't do any good, but this winner, Collini, it sat 3 wide when from the time they hit the first bend until they turned for home. Now, did he get wind cover down the? They never went really hard in front. It led Racing Heart. It finished up ran where did it run? 1, 2, 3. It ran 5th, beaten 5 lengths. It led, and as I say, this Collini, it sat 3 wide the entire journey, not being able to get in. It kept on getting up in between runners, Fiumicino, keeping it out there. James McDonald rode Fiumicino, and Father Schofield, he sat 3 wide all the way down the side, as I say, and down the back. He would have got the wind cover, and it was a strong wind coming off his back, turning for home. Well, getting a soft run back in second last position all the way, was the second place getter, Julian's, stablemate of the favourite Strawberry Boy. And coming to the turn, I naturally watched how the race had unfolded, and I said to myself, gee whiz, if I had to have a bet here, in the run, I'd like to be on Julian's. It's the one that hadn't spent a penny in the run and was just getting onto the back of the winner. And I said, well, it's a moral to get past it, but it couldn't. And he went down by 0.2 of a length, but the rider of Father Schofield sat up and gave it an easy time the last little bit because it was ducking out Collini under pressure, and it safely held the second horse, Julian's, all the way down the straight. And Strawberry Boy, well, it was from barrier 1, the pumper was always on the fence behind the leader, Racing Heart, and he would have been copying the wind down the back and also along the side. And when when the horse on the outside of the leader, Dragon's Own, who pulled up lane and ran a distance last, when it dropped off, Jimmy was able to easily go out after get out of the pocket and go out after the leader. But when he tried to, he couldn't get to it very quickly, and you knew its task was going to be extremely hard from there on. And it held on very well, got beat 2.2 lengths. It never had the hood on today. You'll find that when this horse gets the hood back on, it'll switch on better, and it will it'll race, I think, a bit better. Now, yeah, I've already told you about the flux, the old flux, and that's about the race. That's about the race. I'd say no more there. Race, well, the fluctuations of fluctuations, I'll tell you. Well, Julian's, stablemate of the favourite, it never had a name really. It went from $4 to $6.50 taken, only because the figures were so skinny. Did start $6, unlayable. The winner, Collini, it went up $3.20. I think I might have seen $3.70 given on the fence. I'm not too sure about that. I know at least saw $3.60. Might have even been $3.80, but it didn't fluck that. Best fluck was $3.50. But at one stage it was into $3.20 or $30, very, very hard to get. But it did start the $3.50, and the favourite, Strawberry Boy, well, it went up $1.80. The captain's reached for it, got out to $2.20. You couldn't get $2.25, but $2.20, if you're a blind man, could have got $2.20. It did start $2.05 on my board, and it was extremely well backed. They were the ones in the market. Race 7 on the screen, 102.5 in the marketplace, 97, about 5 less. And this was won by the favourite, Urban Grove. Now, it sat in behind the leader, who was Roll the Bones. It crossed and went straight to the lead, but interestingly, didn't go anywhere near the fence. And when they turned for home, was a good 5 horses off the fence. So the favourite had plenty of room to come inside it. I'd say if it would have crossed to the fence, Roll the Bones, and the favourite would have been behind it on the fence, when they turned for home, the horses, swoopers, including like the second horse, they would have been able to get wider on the track where they would have been closer to the fence, and the favourite most probably wouldn't have got the cash. But as I say, when they turned, it was always off the fence, Roll the Bones. Jay McDonald, he knew it was It was ocean liner close to it, and he steered a course well away. When they swung for home, keep on repeating myself, it was 5 and 6 off the fence. Okay, there was plenty of room for the favourite to get inside. Took a long time to wind up. While it was winding up, down the outside, coming from 6th position, was Brave Soul, a 30 to 1 chance, extremely well backed. Was 26 out to 30, back into 26. It had strolled up and got past Roll the Bones, or joined it at least, and Roll the Bones finished up hanging on to the 3rd position, beaten 2 lengths, so its run was fairly good, but as I say, well off the fence, but did cut the wind. And the favourite, which is most probably a very good netty, this runner, Urban Grove, only having a 2nd run in the race, and 2 from 2 now. It was able to keep on finding the line, and won by half a length from Brave Soul. And as I said, holding on to 3rd was Roll the Bones. The others all had their chance. And fluctuation-wise, well, it never had a price. Flying Stitzel went from $6 out to $9.50. Might have even given $10 for something. Cavalry Rose, it was backed. It went up $11 to $12, $13 taken. Started 12 on my board. Don't Blink, it was backed. It was $6.50 or $7 to $9, but backed on the way out. The next runner, Here the Princess, put a poultice on it. It was $4.40 out to $6, back into $4.80 at one stage. I did lay plenty against it, $4.80, but it started $5 on my board, and I was still laying it when they jumped. Brave Soul, as I said. The next runner, Roll the Bones, it was backed. Did lay 6,500, 12 monkeys at one stage, but I never wound it off. Started that price, was $11 out to 13. As I say, Brave Soul, they took the 31. Wouldn't be in the flux, but they gave 6 to 4, $2.50. Went from Urban Grove from $1.90 out to $2.50, out to $2.50 into $2.30, starting $2.30. Someone had 7,000 on with me at $2.35 at one stage, and the bottom one was labelled Curia at $61. It choked down. It got its tongue over the bit and ran a distant last. So I suppose that doesn't happen. It finishes closer. That was about the race. Only gave 97. If you caught them a bit better than the top luck, I suppose the race was a bit workable. But the Avery got the cash, and the Captain Cookies did no good on it. Now in the last race, on the screen they said 107.7, but I can guarantee you it's a lot less than the marketplace. It was 10% 10 less, only 97. I'll tell you what the flux were. Heartbreak Hotel, it went from $11 out to 15. Jimmy Fortunes went from 101 to 301. Vel Rosso, it only flucked $4.20, Vel Rosso. I was $4.60 when they jumped, and there was $4.60 during the betting. Went from $3.50 to $4.60. Key West didn't have a price. It went from $16 to 31. The winner, Maharisha, well, it blew in the betting. It went from $6 to $10. One stage the betting, a late $6,500 or $5,500 or $1,000, $6.50. Capital Commander, it went from 31 to 51. The next one was scratched. Potions was well backed. They took $17. Did start $15. Was 14 out to 17, back into 15. Under the Sun, they started favourite. $4 was given in the outside ring. It went up $3.50 favourite. Got to 4. Plenty of $3.80 on the fence, but did start only $3. Clear favourite. The next runner, Eliza Blues, 61 was given. It only started about 51. It was 41 to 61, back to 51. Adiba Gold, very hard to lay, $15 to 26. Upshot, laid plenty against it. It was $9 out to $12, back into $9.50, taken towards the finish. Only started 9. I think I might have laid 11 monkeys at one stage to lose 5,000 at $9.50. And oh crikey, well, it never had a name. It went from 40s out to 90s. They said they were going to ride it quieter. Of course, it was always going to be near the lead on everybody's speed map, but they said they were going to ride it quieter. and that's exactly what they did. It settled down in last position. It ran second last, beaten 9 lengths, and Hard Liquor, always firm in the market, went up $12 or $13, was back into $12, never went off, and started that price, $12. It got squeezed in between runners, missed the kick, and it's very headstrong, this horse, as we all know, and got squeezed up when making a run in between runners halfway up the straight. It was a good effort, actually, to be only running third, only beaten 1.5 lengths. The favourite had a chance, and very similar to race 7. Leading was Key West in this race, ridden by the Pumper. And when he was off the fence turning for home, and getting up on his inside was the Avery, Under the Sun, ridden by Nash, had barrier 1, and it grinded away. The winner, as I say, Marisha, who got well out in the market from $6 to $10, when before it was being saddled, it sprung a plate, and they couldn't get. Well, I don't know what the story was, but they ripped the other one off, and it raced barefooted. It didn't have plates behind, and it got a charmer. Leading on the fence, as I said, was Key West. On its outside was Capital Commander. Nash behind the leader, and in the 1-1 position, getting a beautiful run, was the winner, ridden by Abdullah. Brilliant friend Abdullah, and it was a bit of a gap, a good 2 or 3 lengths away to the rest of the field, headed by out wide Heartbreak Hotel, who sat wide without cover all the way. So it makes you think about Collini. It sat wide without cover all the way, and Heartbreak Hotel did the same. But Heartbreak Hotel, it ran a clear last, beaten 12.1 lengths. So I don't think it might have been any good sitting out wide. Just had to get cover. It's no good getting that win on the fence. So Collini's run most probably was very good. That was about the race. And Maharisha was able to, as I say, after getting that beautiful run, and they got to well to the middle of the track, he beat Nash by 0.2 of a length on the line, and it was 1.5, as I said, to Hard Liquor, who made up plenty of ground after mixing the kick and getting squashed up. That was about the meeting. I hope you had some luck. Grand final tomorrow, football-wise. Go the Storm. My daughter, who's the best judge of rugby league in Australia, she says they're unbeatable, the Bulldogs. We'll see what happens. And, of course, Randwick is on Monday, the long weekend. So if you have a bet tomorrow, I hope you win. If not, see you on Monday at Randwick. Good evening.